And then the backup to that one is somewhere up here somewhere where I go to court. This is my motion to this is a judicial hearing on my motion to vacate the hearing officer's recommendation. So the guy on here that talked about the commissioner and the other guys who talking about vacating. This is me going to court after that. I'm still waiting for a ruling, and that's been over 2 months, which is crazy. But anyway, you see some of the other ones. So that's one. That's one. Here's another one. This might be the one where you couldn't hear me. Oh, no, this is another one. So here's another one. Yes, Your Honor. Which is back the case that we're back in about jurisdiction. So now we're still fighting again, but you'll hear this one.
Yes, Your Honor. Despite the facts presented that I presented to the court to demonstrate that the firm filed a frivolous motion, some would call it a sham pleading. The trial court judge then ordered me to sign a letter releasing parties that had not made an appearance into the record pursuant to the rule, did not sign a certificate of authority, and also it included language that was not included in the stipulation, and it undermined, because I don't want to get into the privilege issue, but it undermined what we talked about in the mediation.
So there you go. So that's the other one. That's two. There's another one on here too. And I don't remember how that one come up. That one you can't even hear me on, which is kind of strange because I believe everybody would agree. My voice comes across pretty strongly on those microphones, right?
Hey, Dawes, I got a question. Hey, I just heard you say something about in your video about sham pleading. Is that actually case law or is that just a verbal comment?
I'll help y'all out real quick after that. Let me find this other one.
It's most definitely case law. They put it in my federal plea. Like when cause I had so many federal cases going on at once, and they would write me back about not stating the claim, and they put that in there, the sham pleading. Like when you start putting a whole bunch of shit that ain't even relevant, and man, when you start filing in federal court, they send you back why your shit don't work, but they break it down to you though. They put a lot of shit in there for real.
Okay. It's gonna be after this. Oh, this is it. Now, what's wild about this is the same one where I came back in front of Denton. This is the oral argument, but I'm going to tell you what's crazy. I was told, so a lady said, we can't hear you. So what do you mean you can't hear me? She said, she logged off. She said, I couldn't hear you. It's like I'm underwater.
Yes, it never had the power to enter not only the original.
You hear how bad my voice sounds?
Now the department's going to talk about the concept.
Me and this guy get along not at all.
Are you familiar with the concept of waiver from their briefs?
Now, what's interesting is I talked about personal jurisdiction going back is when we discovered the subject matter jurisdiction issue. But if they read everything, they would have known the court never had jurisdiction because they would have known the same thing that I pointed out to Denton, right? They'd have seen the missing 120 days. They didn't notice that there was no extension of time. They'd have noticed that there was no good cause shown. They didn't notice they did 3 times. They would have had to go back to the rule. They couldn't have had jurisdiction because the court didn't have jurisdiction. I picked it up later on, but this is the attorney whose firm I work with. I think this is one of the attorneys. That's one. And they were actually he's trying to send me a message. I wasn't looking at my phone. And that's the support, but on the side, you see a whole bunch of attorneys. That's the attorney from the Department of Revenue. But the reality is no jurisdiction is no jurisdiction. That was for the Smallwood case, by the way. But you see how bad my voice sounds on this thing? And I asked the guys, I said, could y'all hear me? They said, yeah, we could hear you clearly. It's strange that everybody in here could hear, but when you're listening to the Zoom, and this is not my Zoom, this is from the Second District Court of Appeals website. So there you go. So that's
when I originally heard you pleading, Greg, I always thought your jurisdiction was because of the state thing. You and your other one being in states. But then I read my order and I realized that they get jurisdiction from serving you, and if you're not served, they don't have jurisdiction. That's overall what you were kind of saying, right, Greg?
There's 2 issues. One is the court didn't serve me within the original. Ain't what I'm saying. Watch this.